Well, Zambian President Edward Lungu has declared this week's elections not free and fair. This was expected as violence flared in about 3 provinces. We've got an analyst joining us, and now, of course, we've got Joseph Ochieno just to take us through exactly what does this mean for the country. Joseph, thank you so much for your time this evening. So we've got the president saying that the elections are not free or fair, and yet we've got the AU Election Commission saying that the elections were transparent, they were peaceful, and in their opinion, fair. So in this case, then, who to believe, the AU or the president?
That's extraordinary, isn't it? This is another first on the African continent. I think the people to believe would be the Electoral Commission of Zambia, who are actually obliged to provide the results. It's very clear that almost certainly the president will lose the elections. It will be the second time in Zambian history, independence history, that is, that an incumbent president loses. You know, the founding father of that nation lost extraordinarily at the first attempt at multi-party elections. But he conceded defeat, handed over power, and he died the other month. All of us celebrating him as not only the founding father of Zambia, but a leading light in the liberation of Southern Africa, and indeed an African elder statesman. So I think President Lungu has some lessons to learn from there. It seems almost certainly the case that he's going to lose this election, because the previous 2 elections had been very close with him. He hasn't done particularly well. On this particular occasion, it looks like very early, though, but very likely that he's going to lose the elections.
Yeah, but very likely that he's going to lose the elections, Joseph, does not mean that he will accept the loss, right? I mean, he's been in power since about 2015. He's 64 years of age, and one would say that maybe he's not ready to give up the all-powerful seat or the #1 seat of office as yet. So in that case, what would happen in an instance where he does not accept his defeat?
It will be very unfortunate for that country. But look, at 64, it's not very old, yes. But, my brother Barack Obama handed over in his 50s. Blair, who won massively for the Brits in the Labour Party, I was there in Britain at the time, he voluntarily stepped down. It is possible to leave power in the 50s. At 60s, this guy would already have served this country. It will be very interesting to see how the Zambian armed forces, for instance, would respond. I think it would be a very distasteful outcome in Southern Africa. I'm not quite sure whether SADC nations would actually accept that. I think President Lungu just needs, if it is the case that he loses these elections, to concede defeat and to become a new elder African statesman, and perhaps do a lot more work, as you rightly say, at 60. Maybe he could make another attempt, maybe in the next 5 years or so. But quite clearly, Zambia needs a change. It's a very good lesson for the African continent that it's possible for the opposition to win elections, and that it's possible for the incumbent to lose elections, and that it's also possible in the African continent for democracy to prevail, and it's possible for us to have a debate on the African continent where elections are held on issues, and if the majority of the people believe that you've not delivered or somebody has delivered slightly much better, that you concede that defeat.
Yeah, but then how do you start explaining this, Joseph? And maybe you can give an insight around when there's ever discontent amongst leaders, especially on the continent. The first thing you find out is that the internet goes down. And all of a sudden, everybody's in the dark for a period of time. I mean, when does it stop? When do we start allowing democracy to actually take place without us having to shut down the internet so that we can say that things are not fair and free and fair? I mean, is it not time that we start looking at the continent maturing, democratically speaking? Right, we seem to have lost Joseph Ochieno there, our political analyst, giving us some insights in terms of exactly how these elections will pan out. We've got an understanding that indeed HH, also known as Hakainde Hichilema, is indeed the contender that is set to win these elections. Of course, we've got the incumbent President Lungu saying that not at my watch. How will these pan out? Well, the African Union Observation Mission has actually declared these elections are free and fair. So it remains to be determined on exactly how the outcome will be. But it looks as though in a few moments Zambia may just have a new president.